Hi, I'm Becky Lyons. Welcome to Jesus Speaks in the Book of Mormon and in Dreams. Today we are reading from Alma chapter 50. We read the first half yesterday, and now we're going to read the last 20 verses today. And I will read you the synopsis in case you didn't read with us yesterday. Moroni fortifies the lands of the Nephites. They build many new cities. Wars and destructions befall the Nephites in the days of their wickedness and abominations. Morianton and his dissenters are defeated by Teancum. Nephi-Ha dies, and his son Pehoran fills the judgment seat. So if you want to read listen to verse 1 through 20, go to yesterday's video, and then today we're going to read 20 through 40. Blessed art thou and thy children, and they shall be blessed, inasmuch as they shall keep my commandments, they shall prosper in the land. But remember, inasmuch as they will not keep my commandments, they shall be cut off from the presence of the Lord. So that's a huge theme from the Book of Mormon. When we keep God's commandments, we will prosper in our lives, we'll prosper in our businesses and our families, and we'll do really well. When we don't keep commandments, we're cut off. Does the Lord just say, okay, you're cut off? We cut ourselves off by our choices. So the Lord is bound when we do what he says, but when we do not do what he say, then he can't give us his promises. So we have to, there's a natural law. God has to follow laws. And when we keep commandments, then he can bless us and give us miracles. But when we don't, then we're just cut off because of our own choices. 21. And we see that these promises have been verified to the people of Nephi, for it has been their quarrelings and their contentions, yea, their mutterings and their plunderings, and their idolatries, their whoredoms and their abominations, which were among themselves, which brought upon them wars and their destructions. Those who are faithful and obedient in keeping all the commandments of the Lord were delivered at all times, while thousands of the wicked brethren were consigned to bondage, to perish by the sword, or to dwindle in unbelief and mingle with the Lamanites. So the people that were faithful and obedient and kept all the commandments of God, they were delivered at all times. So when we keep commandments and covenants, we're delivered at all times as well. And God knows we're going to make mistakes, but he just expects us to immediately repent and just bind ourselves in covenants, because we're delivered when we bind ourselves to God in covenants, and to Jesus Christ, we bind ourselves to him. And not only that, we're protected from the adversary when we bind ourselves in covenants to God as well. So we'll be delivered from our trials and tests, and it may not be the way we want to be delivered, but God will deliver us in his own way, and we are protected 24/7 when we keep covenants and commandments. So those two things right there, that's enough reason to keep them all the time. But number one, we should keep them because we love God. So verse 23, but behold, there was never a happier people among the people of Nephi, since the days of Nephi, even the days of Moroni, yea, even at this time, in the 21st year of the reign of the judges. The 22nd year of the reign of the judges also ended in peace, yea, also the 23rd year. It came to pass, in the commencement of the 24th year of the reign of the judges, there would have also been peace among the people of Nephi, had it not been for a contention which took place among them concerning the land of Nephi, and the land of Morianton, which joined upon the borders of Lehi, both of which were on the borders by the seashore. For behold, the people possessed the land of Morianton, they did claim a part of the land of Lehi. Therefore there began to be a warm contention between them, insomuch the people of Morianton took up arms against their brothers, and they were determined by the sword to slay them. But behold, the people who possessed the land of Lehi fled to the camp of Moroni, and appealed unto him for assistance. For behold, they were not in the wrong. That when the people of Morianton, who were led by a man whose name was Morianton, found that the people of Lehi had fled to the camp Moroni, they were exceedingly fearful lest an army of Moroni should come down upon them and destroy them. Therefore Morianton put it into their hearts that they should flee to the land which was northward, which was covered with large bodies of water, and take possession of the land which was northward. And behold, they would have carried the plan into effect, which would have been a cause to have been lamented. But behold, Morianton, being a man of much passion, therefore he was angry with one of his maidservants, he fell upon her, and he beat her much. Well, that's horrible. She fled and came over to the camp of Moroni, and told Moroni all the things concerning the matter, and also concerning their intentions to flee into the land northward. Now behold, the people who were in the land of Bountiful, or rather Moroni, feared that they would hearken to the words of the Morianton and unite with his people, and thus he would obtain possessions of those parts of the land which would lay a foundation for serious consequences among the people of Nephi, yea, which consequences would lead to the overthrow of their liberty. So they were worried that they were going to lose their liberty and their freedom. So Moroni sent an army with their camp, and that's the Lamanites' intent, is to take away their liberty and their freedom. So Moroni knows what's going to happen here. Therefore, Captain Moroni sent an army with their camp to head the people of Morianton to stop the flight into the land northward. They did not heed them until they had come to the borders of the land of desolation. There they did head them in by the narrow pass which led by the sea into the land northward, yea, by the sea on the west and on the east. The army which was sent by Moroni, which was led by the man whose name was Teancum, did meet the people of Morianton, and so stubborn were the people of Morianton, being inspired by his wickedness and by his flattering words, that a battle commenced between them, and in the which Teancum did slay Morianton, and did defeat his army, and took them prisoner, and returned to the camp of Moroni, and thus ended the 24th year of the reign of the judges over the people of Nephi. Thus were the people of Morianton brought back, and upon their covenanting to keep the peace, they were restored to the land of Morianton, and took a union place between them. A union took place between them and the people of Lehi, and they were restored back to their lands. In the same year, the people of Nephi, and peace was restored to them. That Nephi-Ha, the second chief judge, died, having filled the judgment seat with perfect uprightness before God. Nevertheless, he had refused Alma to take possession of the records and those things which were esteemed by Alma and his fathers to be most sacred. Therefore Alma had conferred upon them his son Helaman. Behold, it came to pass, the son of Nephi-Ha was appointed to fill the judgment seat, and in the stead thereof was his father. And he was appointed that chief judge and governor over the people with an oath and a sacred ordinance to judge righteously, to keep the peace and the freedom of the people, to grant unto them their sacred privileges, to worship God, to worship the Lord their God, yea, to support and maintain the cause of God all his days, and to bring the wicked to justice according to their crimes. Now behold, his name is Pahoran, and Pahoran did fill the seat of his father, and did commence his reign in the end of the 24th year over the people of Nephi. So I just want to go over that very last one. The son of Nephi-Ha was appointed to fill the judgment seat in place of his father. He was a chief judge and governor. And he had an oath and a sacred ordinance. He judged righteously, to keep peace and the freedom of the people, to grant them sacred privileges of worshiping the Lord their God how they may, and to support and maintain the cause of God all his days, to bring wicked to justice. So in our own lives, we can apply this to our own lives. Do we make oaths and covenants with God to judge righteously, and to judge ourselves and judge others righteously? Do we try to keep the peace in our family and with our friends and our neighbors? And do we remember the freedom and the agency of others, and try not to control others or try to force them to do things? And do we let other people worship God how they may? And do we support and maintain the cause of Christ? Just some things to ponder and think about. And I'll see you tomorrow in Alma chapter 51.